Okay, I'm talking to Kote today. We've been working together for 6 months, and it's been really, really beautiful and incredible journey together. Um, Kote, what were your biggest challenges before we started working together?
Well, for years, I had been so obsessed with my body, and that led me to, suffer from anorexia and binge eating, and I had children and decided that I knew I needed to stop dieting. So I did that, and the binging stopped, but I still had a whole lot of body image issues that I was dealing with, and I still had quite a lot of emotional eating happening, and I felt like I needed help. Yeah.
Okay, and this is when you started looking for help then?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, over the years, I had tried hypnotherapy, and I'd read so many books. I had DIY'd myself to the point that I got to, which was quite far, but I just needed an outside perspective. I really felt like, yeah.
Okay, and then you obviously found me.
Yeah.
What was it that kind of was appealing to you? Why did you choose to work with me?
Well, first of all, it felt like such a big deal because we made an appointment and then we had an hour conversation, which felt really easy to me. And the stuff that I said to you, which was some of my deepest, darkest secrets, you didn't even bat an eye. It was like, yep, heard that, totally normal. And it wasn't like I said anything where you were like, well, we're gonna need 4 years on this. You were like, I don't know, I think maybe 3 to 6 months and we can have you. And I was like, really? Because I think I just thought that I was so broken that maybe I wasn't fixable. Yeah. And then, you were very easy to talk to. And yeah. And I felt like you could pull messages out. Like what I was saying, you would just pull something out and give me that overall kind of message that I, for some reason, had a blind spot to.
Okay, so it was able to show you things that you kind of knew are there, but couldn't quite see it in that way.
Right. That's right.
Mm-hmm. And in what way was it helpful for you? That now I'm curious.
What's that?
In what way was it helpful for you?
Working with you?
Oh no, I mean, like being able to see things that you couldn't quite see before.
Well, I just felt like I had all these aha moments constantly. It was like, I could see a lot of the problems that I was having and I was blaming on other people were actually coming from myself. And there were all these stories that were intertwined in what I thought was the truth and fact. And it was really a lot of stories and fluff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. And so when did you notice the difference or changes after we started working together?
I remember like at about the 3-month mark, we had started talking about values, and like we hadn't really talked that much about food. And I had this particular habit where I was going to the pantry, and sometimes I would eat and sometimes I wouldn't. And sometimes I would eat and not know that I had eaten, like it was such a ingrained habit. And at about the 3-month mark, I was having like quite a difficult time with certain things. And it only occurred to me that I hadn't been going to the pantry, like that was like a real, whoa, okay. So, and all of a sudden I was like, actually my hunger has dropped off quite a lot, because I actually did feel hungry quite a lot, and I would go and eat or whatever. And I had sort of days where sometimes I'd be grazing. And at about that 3-month mark, I went, oh, that's all sort of dropped off, Yeah. What I did notice is that I had a lot more like raw kind of emotions, and I was having to feel those things. And it was the first time I had ever felt them. And some of them, it was like, I don't even know what this is that I'm feeling, because for so many years I had numbed myself with those feelings with food. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then another thing that I noticed was all of a sudden I felt this real, I had choices. Like, you know, I can decide right now if I want to watch the TV and give myself permission to relax in the middle of the day. And, you know, I just really felt like, no, I'll decide for myself what I want.
Instead
Yeah.
of,
Instead of feeling guilty and I having this, I'm supposed to, or I have to, or I should. It was like, no, I'm going to do this because I want to do this, you know? Yeah.
So it feels like feeling in control, but almost so empowered about the way you want to live your life rather than this conditioning
Yes.
and these rules that we pick up along our lives of
Yes.
should, need,
Yes.
have to. And then
Yes.
when our body actually doesn't really want that, it doesn't serve us anymore, then we live in this feeling of guilt, I guess, and then
Yes.
go to
Yeah.
food to numb, distract, comfort,
Yes.
soothe, and all of that.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And for a long time, I've operated out of kind of overwhelm. And so you just help me structure my weeks a little bit more and just kind of eliminate any things that would be putting me into overwhelm. You know, so then I think that freed up a bit of capacity and yeah.
And also something that you've mentioned, which is very true. We didn't really talk much about food when you
No.
right when you came to
Yeah.
me. It was about food and the body image, and I remember we talked a little bit about it, but the rest of the time, so we maybe we talked about it 3 sessions,
I
maybe
wouldn't even say that.
not
Yeah, I
even
feel
that.
like the first session you know, you sort of asked me what I ate and then gave me some suggestions. And I've I really, other than mentioning the pantry, I don't remember, but that was about my behavior. That wasn't about what I was eating or anything like that. It was, you know, and you helped me realize that that was actually just a habit that, you know, was quite useful at one point in my life, maybe, you know, for whatever I was going through, but it was just sort of a remnant that was not needed anymore, you know? Yeah.
So, and I really want to emphasize this for you, anyone who is listening
Yes.
to this video as well, that a lot of our food problems, or feels like food problems or body problems, they are not about food.
Yes.
And that's why a lot of the time we're not really talking much about food. When we can look, I guess, underneath that surface, we can see, okay, what is really underlying here? What are those reasons? Let's address those. And like you
Yes.
said, then at some point you didn't even notice when it changed for you. You just realized, oh, this is how I usually would do it, but I'm not doing this anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's, yeah, at times that overwhelming feeling of the emotions has been quite hard, but I always know that it's going to pass, you know? Yeah. And it always does. It always does. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I always say to clients, trust me, with or without food, it
Yes,
will
exactly.
pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say, and you've mentioned obviously quite a few things already, what would you say have been the most tangible and really meaningful changes and results for you?
So, oh, I might even cry when I say this, but I feel like I feel so much more compassion for myself and love for myself. And I'm not saying that I don't have any problems or issues, or I'm not getting angry at my children anymore, because those things still happen. But when they do happen, I look at it and I come from a place of love. So I can look at it and I can understand why it would happen. And I know what to do when those feelings come up that would have triggered me before. So, you know, that like self-loathing and the guilt and all of that, I can recognize it quite early now. And I know what to do. For me, I know that I need to go out. I need to change my location. I need to go out probably for a walk. I might need to read something or journal, or so like I feel like I now have the tools with to do what to succeed with whatever is coming at me, because life happens, and like every day I'm being challenged, and I think I look at it now, instead of you're doing this to me, now it feels different. It's like, this is interesting. Like, I put my little scientific hat on and I go, why is this triggering me? And where before I would have just been reactive, and I would have numbed, and it just would have all, and then I would have kind of come to and gone, I don't know what just happened. Yeah. So I just feel, I suppose, this deep sense of love and understanding, and yeah. And that's not just for myself as well, that's for everyone in my household. I feel like that. I recognize stuff that they're doing and I go, oh, yeah.
Okay. So in what way do you feel have other areas of your life have changed because of the way you respond to everything now?
Well, for years I've had this like fear of failure, and I definitely feel my mindset has totally changed. So now I feel like I want to take a risk, and I think that I'm going to learn something, and I also have learned how to really look at my expectations of myself and my family and the people around me, and expectations of every event I'm ever going to put on or anything like that. Yeah.
What would you say about food now?
It's so funny, because in my 20s I would say these mantras to myself and affirmations, and it would be like, food is fuel, and it was just, and I still believe that obviously we need food to fuel our bodies, but I do believe that you should be able to enjoy food, because for years I've just had this guilt associated with good and bad food and all this sort of stuff. And so now I go, yeah, food is fuel, and I do only want to eat when I'm hungry. I really, really believe that I want to eat when I'm hungry, but I also want to enjoy my food. Yeah.
So it sounds quite sort of relaxed and easy.
Yes, that's all I've ever wanted, really. I mean, I didn't like my body, so I became more fixated on my food and more controlled and more restricted. And then it didn't actually improve my situation in any way at all. And now I feel relaxed, and I can go somewhere and there can be all kinds of food around, and I don't feel this compulsion, and I don't have these thoughts going, and I feel free. Yeah.
Beautiful. Awesome. Anything else you would like to add, share?
Honestly, this is the best thing I've ever done for myself. In the beginning, when I met with you, and then you told me how much it would cost, there was just this brief moment of like, ooh, but I would have paid double that.
I will know next time.
Hindsight, I'd pay double that, because honestly, this has just been the best thing. Yeah.
Thank you. Who would you recommend this program for, or this work?
Well, now, after working with you, I can see that everyone has their own little vices. So people use drugs, alcohol, food, shopping. I honestly think that anyone could work with you and see huge benefits. Yeah, anyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kote.
Yeah.
It's been really a huge, huge pleasure. It's been amazing working with you, showing up. You've been showing up, you've been doing the work. And this is really when it pays off. When you show up, when you like for yourself, for this work, you do your homework. Yeah. That's where you see a big, big shift. I'm here to guide, to support you, to challenge you, to question you, to encourage and support you and celebrate you. You do the work.
Yes.
So, it's been great teamwork.
Yes.
So thank you.
Thank you.